The You're Still Here podcast is proudly brought to you by Sweethearts, the Valentine's Day candy that you didn't have to give it to your significant other on Valentine's Day. You can give it to them any time of the year to show them you care about them, you appreciate them, you're in love with them, and they haven't been needed since around, I don't know, the invention of TikTok because everybody hates each other now. I think all guys and all girls are being programmed to despise each other because that's apparently what I'm seeing every time I scour the interwebs, whether that's on Twitter, Instagram, X, XXX, Vin Diesel, and then the place that we only want to send Mars rovers to, and that is TikTok. Mr. Papa Georgia, how you? You're in love, right?
Not at all. Not at all. You sound like you're coming out of a crazy TikTok hole.
Last week we mentioned that we want to send the Mars rover to TikTok. We don't want to be going there, going to TikTok and finding videos. If you've ever watched any of the Insidious movies, and I just watched the most recent Insidious movie. By the way, Papa Giorgio despises horror movies. He's once said that he would rather fight a wolf in the middle of the wild. That's not a problem. He said, it's not a problem. I'll fight him in the middle of the wild.
Yeah, I got through a minute and a half of this new trailer. Done. Turned it off.
All right, so Wolves in the Wild it is. But I watched the most recent Insidious movie. You people know that I love a good horror movie, or 15. I can watch the worst of the worst, but I get excited when it's big budget horror movies because I'm like, oh, now I can have some expectations. I've always mentioned to you it's a dual win when it comes to horror movies. Either it's a small budget and they're trying to be scary and failing miserably, which is a comedy, or it's actually scary and you get those thrills going, thrills that you hate for whatever reason. So in this latest movie, there's this place called The Further. Imagine in like Stranger Things, it's the upside down. It's a fourth dimension. It's a dimension where the lady who knows it. Don't you love how in every movie, no matter what decade it is, there's always this person who knows all this stuff that's impossible to know. There's always some book in a library that a guy pulls out of nowhere, and there's somebody who knows things that are impossible to know. You just can't know about these demonic things. But apparently this lady who's shown herself in all the Insidious, I mean, she died, I think, 3 Insidiouses ago, but now, of course, she comes back in different ways. Anyway, she says that The Further is this fourth dimension where essentially bad people who did not live good lives whatsoever, have to live their worst moment or the thing that's the worst to them over and over every single day.
I just thought about mine, finally.
For me,
I was just thinking, yeah.
For me, this is the New York Islanders Game 7 2 years ago against Tampa Bay. I would, if I was condemned to The Further, I'd watch that 1-0 Game 7 loss every single day.
See, I don't think I've had my Further, but I was thinking of one, like if I went to my favorite barbecue spot and I went in and they were like only serving vegetables that day.
So
Sir, we have some succulent smoked cauliflower today.
So the immense disappointment.
I would just be, if you just kept doing that to me day after day after day.
Vegetables, no meat.
Getting excited to go there, getting excited. Veggies.
That's the worst kind of Groundhog's Day.
Oh, my goodness.
I remember that episode of The Sopranos where Christopher has like a I think he dies and is brought back, and he said he was nearly certain he was in hell.
I'm going to hell, T. It's an Irish bar where it's St. Patrick's Day every day, forever.
And he was repeatedly losing poker hands to Irish pricks. So he was playing Irish people in poker and losing hands.
My father said he loses every hand of cards he plays. And every night at midnight, they whack him the same way he was whacked in life. And it's painful. Night after night.
That guess
was his Further.
That was his Further, losing. Hey, we all have our own things that irritate us.
I'd like to hear what people's Furthers are.
Some of you people, that sports mean nothing to you. But for me, watching that Islanders loss, I'm still not over it. I actually rooted against the Islanders making the playoffs because I needed another 2 years to heal. So that, for me, would be a nightmare. Anyway, this Further, I've come to the conclusion, that's what TikTok is. She said in Insidious that you have to be careful because when you're in the further, and not everybody can go there. This is not Stranger Things where you have to find the portal. It's one of those movies like Teen Wolf where Michael J. Fox, I know some of you people watch the MTV Teen Wolf, the biggest scam Teen Wolf. The reason that came out is because the real Teen Wolf came out with Michael J. Fox, and he turns into a wolf. And his dad sees him, and rather than be shocked about it, he turns into a wolf. And he explains, I was hoping it skipped a generation. That's why I didn't tell you. But it's one of those things that you have to be blessed, cursed, you name it. This thing has to be put on you. He has 2 other kids, the guy from these Insidious movies. Him and his son have this affliction where they can go to this 4th dimension, the further, where I'm watching the Islanders lose 1-0. Now, what this lady who magically knows everything says is that if you go to the further, it's the most dangerous thing because those who are me losing that, watching that game 1-0, and Papa Giorgio going to the barbecue place that has no meat, our only way out of that situation is if somebody like you are in the further and I can use you to get out of there. So I'm watching the Islanders losing on that couch, and if I can just somehow latch onto you, I can use you to propel myself out of this place. Well, and she says, if you go there, the consequences can be dire. It might be your first time there, might be your permanent time there. That's what TikTok is. That's why I needed to send something, because I got caught up in the further. And TikTok lately for me is just a series of videos of girls destroying guys and a podcast of 2 guys destroying girls. And so many times I want to rebut some of these points, but I also know I tell people, if you don't get married or anything, never shit on marriage. Don't be the guy, because then you know who you are. You're the bitter single guy who should speak kindly of it, because then people have to think, wait a minute, he's supportive of marriage and stuff, but and it gives you some credibility. If you're just 2 assholes, 2 guys just shitting on girls without giving girls a chance to defend themselves, that's a bad look. Same thing with these girls shitting. It's a bad look. I wish I could have 2 girls sitting across from me right now and rebut some of the points that I'm about to tell you from some of these videos that I just see. Instead, yeah, but I just want to let you know, if I had these theoretical girls to be sitting right here arguing with me, I'm happy to embrace that argument. Now, with that said, it's time for me to talk about some of the videos I saw in the further. The one coming from Mia Khalifa. I don't know if there's a relation.
Former porn star.
Now, you may have seen this video because she's a former porn star.
Former porn star.
That's like military members.
Yeah.
You know, they're still getting thanked for their service. That's always going to be on you. Once you serve for life. You're a permanent member. They bring you out in baseball games and you wave at the crowd. Porn star is the same thing, except with dishonor rather than
her IMDb says that she has claimed she made only $12,000 during her entire porn career.
Well, that's a shame that you didn't make more, but it doesn't.
She's made plenty since.
It doesn't take away from the fact that, but if you made $100,000, then you're a porn star doing it. Whether you got paid a ton or you got hosed. You got hosed by an industry that, and what do adult films now mean OnlyFans? Or, because I mean,
interesting.
Everybody talks about like, Uber really put those taxi cabs out of business. Do you remember that there were porn companies that had made pornography?
Oh, yeah.
Those have to be, we talked about XX porn last week or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Now,
they're still doing it.
Are they?
You have Bang Bros company, they're doing that stuff.
But that wasn't, for example, I know Playboy wasn't porn. What was the channel over Playboy? Playboy was 60.
Spice. You're talking about Spice or, I don't know.
And right now, if I was watching this, I'm like, what an act this guy's putting on. Like, he didn't know the one. I remember.
Spice.
60.
It's got to be Spice.
Well, the fact that I don't remember probably lets you know the state of those porn companies. 'Cause think about it. If you could watch porn, And something tells me AI auto detects porn. Now, if I say the word, now I've just said it a bunch of times. Now this whole thing's getting flagged.
yeah.
Now we're going from 38 viewers to 22 viewers, all because AI out there. And I know you hate that term. I don't like the term.
I'm sick of it.
And we're only at the beginning of it.
I
We're
know.
at the early stages of saying it. So you're going to hear
Just
it.
want a cool name for it. Give me a cool name. I just need a better name for it.
Well,
Something I could tolerate hearing as much as we keep hearing about it right now.
well, last night we watched the documentary on Johnny Football.
Yeah.
That's a cool football name.
That is a great football name.
And I
Doesn't
know
get
you-
a better football name than that.
And there's an AI name called Johnny Five from the movie Short Circuit, called Johnny Five from the movie Short Circuit. We
There you
watched
go.
the Johnny Football documentary, and now me and you on this podcast, if we ever have to talk about AI, we're going to refer to it as Johnny Five.
Please, call me Johnny Five.
Johnny?
Johnny Five.
Johnny Five. And by the way,
Put it in the Johnny Five.
if you're a sports person, I would suggest watching the Johnny Manziel documentary. It's rare to get somebody who's just being honest,
Yeah.
saying, yeah, and I screwed him. Yep, and I made that money and
Yep.
laughed about
And
it
I
that
didn't
night.
want to be there.
If you like this podcast and you like people spitting truth, I think you'll like that Johnny Manziel. I think you'll like that.
It was a
because
good one.
It was,
Netflix stepping it up again. That's another good one.
hey guys,
I'm not interested in the Jake Paul one.
we say things and they come to fruition. We say, hey, Netflix, if you're going to limit password sharing, we want to see some good shit. Okay, thank you. American Gladiators, thank you very much. Right after American Gladiators was, we talked about it when we were patting them on the back. There was 2 good episodes of Black Mirror. Now we piggyback into the Johnny Manziel documentary. And
They
then
got the Barry
the
Bonds
Barry Bonds
one
one
coming.
is coming. And last week we talked about the plane lady. And if you watch this video, I actually put the screenshot because to me, it does nothing outing this person. This person made an awful mistake. I believe they should be able to return to whatever weird life that they had. One that had them believing in the
Too many
lizard people and
drinks.
everything. Yeah, they had a shitty night. We both been there. You potentially more than me. But we brought that up. And then this week, what happens? Her name is all out there on the internet. The beautiful thing about timestamps and YouTube videos, you can see. I put the police report, which wasn't even mine. There is whoever did the dig. I talked about the Substack. They're going to get no credit for this. Now everyone's acting like they revealed it. Who knows who they're crediting? But that woman, and how bad is that My Bunker search superseded all those major media stations. But now it's a story because everybody saw it. Now it reports on it. And that's a weird thing, by the way, that it was out there to be found. I found it. Not a big deal. But now that NBC or whoever reports on it, now it's magically a big deal. And it kind of confirms one of my theories that I've had through the years. Just because you want some inspirational words, I'm going to come with some inspiration. How do you like the fact that we didn't even get
Lift my
to
spirits.
the videos? I'm going to lift your spirits a couple times.
Because I don't think that video is going to do it.
Number one, I think there are plenty of you people out there, potentially, probably not, who can be very talented, but you post something, you have a couple hundred followers, and you get a couple likes, maybe one comment. I remember when I was in the infancy stage of my Instagram account, I posted a parody. It got 2 comments. This is kind of funny. And then when I grew my account years later, posted the same exact Game of Thrones parody. I'm a genius. Why aren't you on TV today? Same video, semi-bigger platform. The stuff that you guys saw here, that you see here right now, still a small audience with this podcast. They put my same asshole remarks on the Odd Shopper channel talking about hockey, and I went to number 1 in the space. Same asshole, same comments, same absurd analogies, and it went to number 1. It's all about the platform that gets put out there. And how bad is it that after saying that girl just probably got screwed, I don't even know her name to credit her. The very person who actually they put in the Freedom of Information Act request, got the person's name, put it out there and said, I'm the one who got it. Gets no credit. And she's stewing over it. So, Miss, who I don't even know your name, and I had to look up your own police
Good
report.
job.
Good work. Your break will come, but don't worry. It's not like I'm at NBC laughing. So we're both in the same bunker. All right. But for all you out there, just know, just because you uploaded that song and it didn't get a ton of respect, it might be the next big hit. It might blow up like one of these videos. So I told you about those candies, the sweetheart candies. Nobody's getting them anymore because no one has a sweetheart anymore because everyone's miserable and guys hate girls, girls hate guys. And there was the Wiz Mia Khalifa video.
Mm-hmm.
This one went viral. I'm assuming some of you saw it. If not, if you're watching this, I'll probably, or you're listening, I'll add it in right now. And what she says is,
married at 18, divorced at 21. Second marriage, married at 25, divorced at 28. Third engagement, engaged at 29, ended it at 30, but I kept the ring. I'm still keeping Tom Brady on his toes.
hey, if you get married, I've been married 3 times. I'm 30, I'm approaching 30. I got divorced 3 times, no big deal. And she brags about keeping the ring, said Tom Brady's got to stay on his toes. Maybe she'll catch him with 7 rings or something like that.
We should not be afraid to leave these men. We are not stuck with these people. Marriage is not a sanctimonious thing. It is paperwork. It's something, it's a commitment you make to someone. But if you feel like you're not getting anything from that commitment and you're trying, you gotta go. You gotta go. You have to go.
Just striking fear in the heart of whatever few guys are left who are considering getting serious, because every time they're like, you know what? Maybe this is not the case. I think maybe this is just some people on it, and then they find out something like that. All right, never mind. That puts them back 2 years. Every one of these videos puts people's mindset back 2 years. And I always try to say, you know, come on. This is like when you see a clickbait article. The cream rises to the top in real life, but in social media, the crap rises to the top. Whatever infuses the most rage. And they got me. That's how I fell into the further. And I saw this video where a girl goes on a date, and rather than tell you what she says, I'm going to show you what she says. So here we go. This is the girl's actually. Oh, we did it by the TikTok app. Oh my God, I downloaded the TikTok app.
Tip-top back.
The
TikTok.
How dare
TikTok.
how dare I? You know, it's things like this that have me terrified if I ever go until I'm doing the New Year's Eve on MTV and I just blow like the final countdown.
I'd have to be in the front row. What was that, Andy? What did you say?
So
Can you
here's
repeat
a girl
that?
on TikTok where the Chinese app is in here with you guys.
Oh,
Welcome
man.
them.
Here we go.
How does that work when, you know, you got our spyware in the Amazon device? Now you got there's a spyware fighting in there for our information. So listen to this girl.
I recently was going on dates with a man, and nice guy, good guy, treated me well.
Went on a date with a guy. Nice guy, good guy.
That's good to hear.
Treated me well.
Not here, terrible guy, awful date doer.
And usually when you're a nice guy, good guy, and you treat people
That's a
well,
great way to
that
start.
story's going to end well for you. I
Sure.
watched the Mighty Ducks. I saw how things ended
Fairy
for Charlie
tales.
Conway. This is going to be a happy ending, right?
Here we go.
But once I realized that he was not my husband, because I'm only looking for husband energy at the moment.
If you are looking for a husband out there, I understand that. It's husband or bust. No comment about as to why this good, nice guy who treated her well isn't even into consideration. Because if you're looking for husband material, those 3 things should be on the
husband energy.
I'm only looking for husband energy at the moment.
Isn't it great?
Everything's in energy these
Isn't
days.
it great when you
Big
don't
dick
have
energy.
Big dick energy, husband energy. Well, how about this? You're a fucking asshole energy where you're taking things. You got a nice seat. You know who you are? I've talked about these girls before. You're a Ticketmaster chick. You wanted to go to the Taylor Swift concert. You had something in your cart, but you know how it goes. If you dismiss that and go to the next one, what happens? You're in the section 400s. You're all the way up at the top. You're with the UFC crowd we talked about last week. But no, you will you just toss section 213, row 8. Because why? Oh, I want the 100s. I want that husband energy. Well,
I ended things with him, and I sent him a text because, like, it wasn't that serious. You know, I didn't feel like I needed to.
by the way, the person who's looking for husband material thinks that the honorable way to do things is to text somebody and do the text breakup, not even realizing
After saying he was a nice guy.
Yes, because that's the person who deserves.
Still a nice guy. Come on.
Looks like it wasn't that serious. You know, I didn't feel like I needed to do it in person. Anyways, I
Disappoint
sent
me
him a text.
Nice guys out there, I want to tell you something. The biggest lie that was ever told to me was believing in some of the movies and stuff. I just mentioned Charlie Conway. Oh, you're nice to the girl? Yeah, she'll leave the guy from the Ducks for you at the end of the movie, and you're going to beat the Hawks. No, in real life, the Hawks win, and he gets the girl you want, and you have to watch it. He's going to laugh at you as he's with that girl. Now, when you're a nice guy, I invented this saying. You know how what can go wrong will go wrong, Murphy's Law? Well, my adjustment to that is he or she who can be taken advantage of will be taken advantage of. And that's what a nice person is, guy or girl. If you're somebody who someone knows, if I screw him, he's just not really going to be much push. You're the one who gets screwed. The nice guy who treated her well, you're getting the text breakup, because why would I do that? It's not like there's going to be any consequences.
Told him that I didn't see it going any further. And he agreed.
The Jerry Seinfeld, by the way, where, you know what? I think we should break up. All right, we're broken up. That should be the end of it. She got off scot-free. The guy treated her well. He's like, she said, this guy doesn't have that husband energy. I want more than that. Breaks up with him via text, a scummy thing to do. And the guy goes, you know what? Okay, so this girl should be thrilled.
And while I appreciate that, it was a very kind response, he didn't even try. He didn't even try and say that he wanted to change, that he wanted to whatever.
It's not enough that you just kind of want to reject this guy and want this nice guy to just take what you said. But the fact that he maybe stands up for himself a little and is like, you know what? I kind of got that vibe. I wasn't going to be able to make you happy too. Now the fact that you're confronted with, maybe I'm a piece of shit. No, now you not only want him to take the rejection, you want him to just fight one last time to think, well, wait, is there anything else I can do? If he did that, you would just reject him again. You just want to stuff this good guy 6 feet under, and it's another reason why guys and girls despise each other.
I can be manipulated. I will listen to you. But you didn't even try.
The true question, is this the norm, or are we seeing the fringe?
I would like to see if she would act this way if there was a live studio audience on all these times that she was out with him. I'd like to see if maybe the way she was acting, he got the inclination he should get rid of her.
We were talking about how can we get people to start doing the right thing? And nobody just does the right thing. I talked about how the parameters in life have changed, but I haven't. Just the walls around me have. I used to be considered like, Andy, he's kind of a scumbag. This was me on the scumbag scale. Here was life around me. Scumbag, right? I was at the bottom. Life has come down. Now, I'm kind of a good guy. Why? Well, that person who had a birthday party, Andy actually went after he said, simply doing something, like showing up to something that you said you'd go to. That qualifies as being a good guy now. We need some sort of system. We need checks and balances to keep people in order. Because right now, if maybe you're a girl and you're 50-50 on something, you look around you for cultural cues. You look around you to say, well, what did this person do? And if you see other people acting like scumbag, the original obviously is the Kim Kardashian sex. Well, she made a sex tape. I mean, you find validation. You could find anybody who I agree with that person.com. And you have people like this. Well, it's like, well, all right. I mean, so I broke up with him in the text. Joanna over here broke up with that guy via text, and we need something else.
So-and-so in TikTok land did it.
So-and-so in the further did it.
Yeah.
And we need a studio audience like you would watch in 90s and 2000s shows. You remember when you were about
I
to
think
do
she would have
something?
got booed right now. If she gave this little spiel in front of a live studio audience, it'd be like the Jerry Springer show, and they'd be, get out of here.
I recently was going on dates with a man, and nice guy, good guy, treated me well. But once I realized that he was not my husband, because I'm only looking for husband energy at the moment, I ended things with him. I sent him a text.
But now you're getting booed, and that's what we need. And this applies to guys too. You take out that phone, maybe you're gonna text that other girl, or how about if you do something right? You have a good line, woo, and you get that. You get that jolt of confidence. Oh, and then if you actually kiss them,
Oh my God.
you know, that was always, they were a pretty strict audience. If you went into the bedroom with the girl, is that like, isn't that more like, ooh, I'm telling, ooh.
Could you imagine being in that situation in real life?
Where
You're coming home from a bar in the city, you know, scored, you got this girl, going back.
You trip up the stairs. All the small
Oh
things.
my God. That would be amazing.
We need studio audiences in real life to keep us in check. Maybe that's a job of Johnny 5. Maybe Johnny 5 will be an app implanted in us that all of a sudden in our head we...
I wouldn't do that.
But I told you, I'm going to give you good stories to work with. Everybody's not a scumbag. There are good stories to be had.
Of course.
And one of my big problems is whether you want to talk about TikTok or texting. I know everyone goes, well, I'm old school. I'm the kind of person who can walk up to somebody and say, how's it going? I saw you over there, and I know this is kind of weird, but I just wanted to say hello. My name is Andy. I'll just say that. And even me doing that to you, I don't feel that uncomfortable. And that's a weird situation. But now make me do that over text, and I freeze. There is a problem. There is a problem where it just does not transfer the same way.
Oh, we're the opposite, man. I'm Rico Suave out there on the text. Forget it.
Yeah, so you're like the majority of girls out there. I call it Wizard of Oz syndrome.
I got romantic novels being written in there. Go to the bar, and I'm like, man, I hope she spots me.
Yeah, and then when you...
Hope she spots me out of these
so funny.
500 people in
What's
there.
wild is I'm convinced that a large majority of people, because so much of the communication now is spent over, they would prefer the good texter. Like, I'll deal with him if he's boring in person. I mean, life really is texting most of the time. I really think there's a potential chance of that.
It's true.
So one time, this is a true story. There is still love out there. Now, granted, these two are not in Gen Z, so people like this, I don't know how the story ends for them. Like Papa Giorgio said, we'll find out in 2026. But my friend went out one night. He met this girl. He exchanged numbers with her. And what happened was he requested her on Instagram. She approved it, didn't follow him back. And I said, something's up. Something's up. I always look at something like that as a digital handshake. I say, if you stick your digital hand out and they don't shake back, something's, it doesn't mean...
She pulled back and ran it through her hair or something.
I like the digital... our friend's younger brother had a great term for this. He goes, oh, you know what I would have done? I would have left him in Instagram purgatory. It's the pending request stage where you're neither approved or denied. But I believe she accepted him, and there was no follow. There was something like that. And I said, look, something's up. You can trust me, or you can trust the rest of these assholes we work with who you've gone out with me. I should have some credibility with you. I've had decent reads on things. And everyone in the office said I was crazy. Everyone was like, no, it means nothing. Nothing means nothing. And now I've been vindicated because there was no call her daddy, these people ripping on guys. Now that a lot of it's out of there, it's a bigger revelation than the aliens. Some of the things that have been going on behind closed doors. People using the red receipts and weaponizing them and all these little tactics that I used to say go unregulated because there's no cops checking the, inner workings of screwing people on TikTok, Instagram. I remember one, like when for somebody's birthday, a friend will upload a picture with that friend. They look better than the actual birthday girl. No one's calling them out. It's all these tactics. And this was during that time where I was trying to shed light on all these things. And I said, something's up, man. Just trust me. And he trusted me. He didn't reach it. It's crazy. He just straight up trusted me, where I would have tried to bulldoze through that and say, no, I'm going to try something. Didn't text her. And they exchanged the text that night. He was following her on Instagram. she was not following him. And rather than withdraw it, he just kind of left it. A couple months were going by. Legitimately, I know that if someone said this, I'm like, nobody actually does this. But this guy at work who was very slow, and he was literally deleting probably old texts. I don't think he was going to the contacts, but he was deleting old texts, because I actually have done that once they really start to pile
Yeah, I
up.
don't think I've done the contacts.
Yeah, so that's...
Ever.
I remember Dane Cook had a stand-up joke where he's like, you know what's a really weird thing when if you have to remove contacts from your phone book and you just go, it's the closest thing you could to making somebody actually disappear.
Yeah.
Because I'll never know or see you again.
Never.
They're deleted, and
I never
that's
knew
it.
your number. I'll never know it.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
They're deleted out of your life. You've made them
You are the
vanish.
weakest link. Goodbye.
So a couple months go by, and I guess he's clearing texts out, and I'm right next to him, and he just goes, ugh, I'm coming by the girl from that night. And I said, you know what? Do me a favor. Show me your Instagram one more time. This was months later, a good 3, 4, possibly even 5 months later. And the truth of the matter, I believe if you scrolled down on that girl's profile a couple months ago, you saw the ex, which was always a weird thing because it's like, oh, there's been no boyfriend pictures for a year.
removed.
You don't know.
Why
People
not?
have different
Well,
removal policies.
remove 'em.
Sometimes
Come on,
there's a
move
pending,
on.
there's
Let's
a
go.
lingering phase. I told him my guess is she's not with anyone,
Yep.
but she's in the lingering
Ugh.
outs phase. That was my guess. And once I saw those photos deleted, I said, listen, throw something out there. And
Oh, they were gone the second time.
the second time,
Oh, yeah. All right. She got over it.
but it wasn't a whole time. From what I remember, there was just like 1 or 2, but they were gone. And I said, dude, throw it out there. He goes, are you crazy? We met that one night, and now all these months are going to go by. What am I going to say? I go, you know what? Do this crazy thing called telling the truth. And I'm not some like, oh, you always have to tell the truth kind of guy, but I thought that was the actual best thing to say. I told him, tell her, just deleting texts in my phone. Kind of upset I never followed up on this. It was that was the basics of what he said. And I go, what? You have 2 options. Either you don't send it and you're screwed, or you send it and there's a 5% chance you get an answer.
What do you got to lose, man?
Yeah,
Come on, man. What do you got to lose?
the classic Wayne Gretzky, 100% of the shots you don't take don't go in, which I don't believe in that saying. 100% of the shots you don't take don't go in. So they're saying if you don't shoot, you'll never score. But what they never factor in is if you miss 10 straight shots, now 11's going to miss by a mile because you have no confidence. So I don't believe that saying, which most people attribute to Michael Scott, but is actually Wayne Gretzky. No, because they never factor in confidence. Your confidence could be destroyed after 10 missed shots, but if you never took one to begin with, you could still be salvageable, where you work on yourself and then come in and you start hitting. Regardless, he sent that out there. And then he just, he's like, all right, let's go back to work. Right?
Yeah,
Where
put
you
it
just
out
want to
there,
forget
yeah.
it. About an hour later, that phone dings.
Everybody's head turns.
And it's her. And she says, like, I'm paraphrasing, but this is nearly exactly correct. It was, oh my God, me too. Like, I'm upset that you didn't reach out too. And then she goes, who is this? That's straight up funny.
Oh, God.
That's funny. And where you might think like, oh, he got roasted. No, not at all. Because somebody like me, I go, jackpot. This person has a sense of humor. The fact somebody answered and then said that rather than, because she could have said, wait, excuse me, who is this? I'm sorry, I don't. No, she went with comedy. And I go, all right. Now my problem is, like I told you, I have text. There needs to be like a saying, like like a fight or flight response.
Yes.
Well, in person, I fight. With text, it's flight. My mind, it can't come up with the proper text. But I learned to hack. What?
I was gonna say, why don't you try voice notes? Have you ever tried that?
What do you mean voice notes?
Voice notes, like you press the button, you speak, like I'm speaking to you right now. It's recorded,
Yeah.
comes to me, and then I
So
play
I
it.
meet a girl out, and the first thing I send her is a voice note?
Yeah, hey, what's going on? How
Are
you
you
doing?
nuts?
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you sound like you're hosting a radio
This
show
is,
with
this
smooth.
is Andy from the other night.
Yeah, this is Papa Giorgio blasting your old favorite West Coast radio beat. Yeah, maybe. Not when you sound like Tony Danza's angry son. It's not coming in
I
there.
don't know. Some guy who owns a pizza shop called me.
That's so good. So I learned a hack where if somebody performs the text, I respond naturally. So if a girl texts me and my own friend stands next to me and reads the text, those reaction triggers in my brain, the ones that naturally happen in person, they fire away. So I had my buddy perform the response to me. So
Did he perform it as a female voice?
No, he's not good at acting.
Okay.
At all. He read it like worse
I
than
would try,
Johnny
yeah.
Five would. It
Okay.
was brutal. He said exactly what I said. Me too. Wait, who is this again? And then I had the natural like that. Oh yeah. I said, what? You don't remember the guy that you met one time at a random bar 5 months ago? In person? Good response. Now, since he's younger and he's good at texting, he laughed as soon as I said that. He took it and translated that. You know,
Loses it in translation.
hey, no, he's good on that front. He's a good texter, so he took the concept. He's a smart guy.
Slippery
Took the
slope.
concept.
A lot of texts go the wrong way.
I think that's an easy text to say. Like, how can you not remember a guy you met for 5 seconds 3 months ago? You know,
A lot of guys are full of themselves. How would she not remember me?
So she responds again, all caps, ha, 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 ha. Fast forward, they end up going out. They end up being really into each other. They're currently engaged, and I'm going to their wedding. So all of you out there who
Beautiful.
found yourselves
Congratulations.
lost in the further,
You got yourself a little trip.
you got yourself a happy story, a good story. Maybe they exchange those sweethearts to each other on, but there are still stories to be had out there.
We should be playing matchmaker on here.
Well, if you think I'm just such a nice guy about this wedding, then how about I introduce the scam of the week?
It's a scam.
That's a scam.
What a scam that
So
was.
this was all a scam, huh?
It's the destination wedding get credit for a vacation scam, where you're invited to a wedding at an exotic destination, and even South Florida counts, even Southern California counts. I'll even count parts of Texas, but you're going to a place that many consider a vacation spot, or it's the Bahamas or something like that. Well, if you're dating someone and you're seeing someone, you say, hey, let's go to Turks and Caicos, wherever this is.
Sounds
Let's
delightful.
go. So you get credit. Because not everybody makes it to a destination wedding. You get double credit. Your friend really appreciates that you went to the wedding in Turks and Caicos, and this girl you're dating is thrilled that you took her to Turks and Caicos. You kill two birds with one stone. Now you don't have to, I mean, they're going to want another vacation regardless, but now at least there's something in your court defense when you inevitably break up. And when she says, oh, well, he never took me. I took you to Turks and Caicos in 2023. It's the double credit for a destination wedding and taking your girl on vacation scam.
It's a scam, but it also could be the regret of the week if you take the wrong person on this trip and now you're stuck with this asshole for all these days.
True story, someone else that I work with, not the guy who's getting married, but he went to a wedding with a date and she left with someone else.
Holy
That
shit.
is-
Who was at the wedding?
She left with another guy from
How long were they together?
My guess is he went with someone. That's usually a girl move, just taking like a friend or maybe something she wants something
gosh.
more with. And this
Ooh,
girl
that's
left
tough.
with someone else.
Unless they had an agreement. Maybe they had an agreement before they went.
I don't know if I could, like, you want to.
Listen, we're not that close. Maybe, you know, if I see somebody, you see somebody.
Maybe. If not, I know what that kid's living out in the further next to me watching the Islanders, and you at the barbecue
the guy
place.
dancing with the girl he spent money bringing there.
Oh, my God. That is sick. You know.
Thanks for inviting me to meet the love of my life.
I was watching this Insidious movie, happy ending, just like the marriage that I told you about. And there was a part of the movie, it was by far the most terrifying for me. And it actually wasn't designed to be scary at all. If you watched it, it's the one moment you'd actually be able to relax. In the movie, like I told you, the father and the son have this affliction where they are whatever you want to call it, they are the ones who can go to this further, the upside down. And when this was revealed, the way they revealed it to us, like, oh, it's happening to the both of them, they both woke up on the same morning, and you're seeing a split screen of them. And they're both getting up in bed and, like, walking to the bathroom. And do you want to know why this was terrifying for me? Because I'm watching the kid and the dad get up and walk to the bathroom, and the kid, just like you would think, just some kid scratches himself, walks to the bathroom. The dad gets up, he shifts his weight, you hear a noise, he's grumbling, he's kind of dragging a leg to the bathroom, and I'm like, yeah, man, I saw eye to eye and noise to noise with the dad. It was the first time I ever watched a movie, and I was no longer Shia LaBeouf and Transformer. Yeah, and the cute Megan Fox is going to like me, and I'm going to meet Josh Duhamel. I'm the young guy, too. That's going to be me. No, I was the dad who was grumbling, just walking to the bathroom in the morning, let alone anything else. No love interest for him. I think, yeah, the wife left him. He was just living by himself. Wait, I was like, yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
And it was a very depressing thing. It felt like if I met this girl right here over my shoulder, if she met me, she wouldn't say,
her.
oh, and there was this nice guy. She wouldn't say I met this cute boy or this, that she'd say that she met this nice, interesting man. I'd be an interesting man, not the cute boy anymore.
I wonder what she would claim your energy to be. Oh, I would love to hear the characterization
of brick oven pizza
energy.
Lifetime energy. That is some. This guy has more to say than me, a complaining woman energy. Get him away from me. I know the deal. It is, I've always been conflicted when I went out with people. Like, you gave me advice not to stuff yourself.
It's tough. Very tough.
But another thing was, I know that when you think about all the stereotypical men that women love in movies, you think of Brad Pitt in these movies, and you think of, are they ever running their mouth left and right? No, there's always a little bit of a mysterious, charming quality. So I had to run the thing. All right, do I want to not be myself? Because unfortunately, this is my curse. I run my mouth. Should I just play the part of someone who's just chilling and stuff? I mean, then I'm a full fraud.
But they're probably acting like a mime out there. Just put on the whole silent act, making faces.
Even if I try to do that, the same way in Insidious, the way they tried to beat it before the movie started was they had a hypnotist suppress the memories. Because if you don't remember, it's just like Nightmare on Elm Street, where if you don't know who Freddy Krueger is, he has no power. That helped them for the years before the movie. A hypnotist suppressed the memories, but they started leaking out, and that's what would happen to me. I can only shut my mouth for so long. But, I've heard that girls and guys both have what is known as the sweep it under the rug phase. And sometimes it lasts a month, sometimes it lasts a year, sometimes Mia Khalifa lets it last until they get married, she gets a ring, and then divorces him and keeps the ring. I guess it all depends. But when all is said and done, another bit of positivity, I will tell you, despite all these miserable things you see out there, not only do I have a friend who's married to someone because he had the balls to send out that text, but you should never take a miserable disposition into your next date, because if you do that, just assuming everyone's going to be this rat bastard behind me, you're going to let that diamond in the rough slip away. If you go on 100 dates, there's probably a diamond in the rough there. But if you took that miserable disposition there, you would have scared her away. So you have to have that Jesus Christ quality. And I'm no Jesus guy, but apparently they told him he was going to die. He goes, look, I got to eat it. I'm going to take it. So
I'd rather take it than go on 100 dates these days. For sure. Jesus, you know how many more of these you're going to find?
Oh, it's a nightmare. That is a further-esque nightmare. I will say that was a pretty enjoyable podcast where we did some slicing and dicing.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank all you guys for coming back. If you could find it in your blessed hearts, come follow me on social media. We got sports coming on. We're going to have all different kinds of videos. We should have that Ronick show coming up. It's at Andy Francess on all social media platforms.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends.
And then subscribe and follow the You're Still Here podcast. It's on YouTube if you like watching. It's on all social media platforms, all audio streaming platforms, your Spotify's, your Apple Podcasts, your Google Podcasts, your iHeartRadios, your Stitchers, and that's where my
Stitchers and Twitchers. And
that's after that, I don't know what the hell's around, but it's on all of them. So make sure you subscribe. Tell somebody who you may think might possibly maybe think would enjoy it.
Maybe.
All right. We will be back with you guys next week. I'm going to probably pre-record something because I'm going on my one vacation, not the one where I'm going to a wedding. I'm going to Malibu.
Oh, that means the beach.
At least it's going to feel like a Drake and Josh kind of.
Don't you bring that sand back into the studio with you. I swear to
There's
God.
going to be no sand. Definitely not going in.
If I
Guaranteed
find
not.
Malibu sand in here and I bring it home with me, I'm going to be pissed.
We will have something for you. We got September right around the corner. We're getting good weather every single week now. We're all in a better room. Me, Papa Giorgio, you stay out of the further, and I will see you guys next week. Take it easy.